Hello and welcome to Getting to Know. Today we're joined by soccer goalkeeper Dennis Mejia. Dennis, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So you guys had your fall season. You guys were successful. You tied the program record with 12 wins, but you guys weren't able to get the spring season in, which I'm sure you guys were looking forward to get some work in and to build off last year's success. How has your time away from the field been?
It's been pretty progressive. I've been working out as much as I can, whether it be in the backyard, doing weights, or any plyometrics work. So that'll keep me going throughout the whole quarantine.
So what have you kind of been doing with your free time outside of getting ready for the season, trying to keep in shape? What are you doing? Any hobbies? Any new activities?
Besides working out, probably going for a nice little run. Video games is always up there with me.
What are you playing?
FIFA. Always FIFA.
Who do you play with?
Well, I support Real Madrid, so I gotta
Okay.
play with them for the most part.
Awesome.
So the semester's over, but you had to make the adjustment from in-person classes to online classes. How was that for you, and how did online classes go?
It was a bit different than what the normal is, where, especially for my degree in biology, where you're used to going into laboratories to kind of further get through the whole process of learning the material. It's a bit different from transitioning from being in person to then going online. Because I know my genetics class, Dr. Sands made it more possible for us to kind of get the laboratory experience, where she had us she had us download this application that would let us do online labs, which is very, very successful for, I would think, all of us.
So you found that to be helpful?
Oh, definitely.
That's great. They were able to kind of move on the fly like that.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about your initial reaction to finding out that the whole spring athletic season was not going to happen.
It was a bit upsetting because we had a couple of great games ahead of us. Our very first two games were going to be Hofstra and LAU. It would have been a great game to see, not just me play and the team play, but just to see what we have in store. Like we have a great team coming in, and we've always had a great depth of team. So I believe that we could have held our own against the D1 powerhouses right there.
Now, this has been a transitional time for everyone. What are some things you've learned during this time?
As in just the whole
about yourself, or about yourself as a player or in the classroom?
A little bit, work on a bit more time management, because I know me especially, it was a bit harder to be more pushed into all right, I have class at this time. I had to make time for my studies, had to make time for whatever the case may be. So a bit more time management. I would say I learned about that.
You like structure.
Yeah, structure. There you go.
I think that's something that a lot of people have struggled with. So.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's different from going from in person, where everything is so, again, structured out like the way it should be, and then transitioning to an online section where anything can go, really.
So what are you most looking forward to once you are able to get back out on the field and kind of return to some normal full routine?
Seeing the guys again. The bond we have is going to be immense, and just looking forward to the big season that we have coming forward.
Now we're going to switch things up a little bit. We're going to do what we call the rapid fire. So you could say the first word or phrase that comes to your mind when you're asked a question coming your way. What's your favorite pregame meal?
Pregame meal. I'd probably pasta.
This is always a controversial question for people, but who's the funniest person on your team?
Funniest person. I don't even know. Jeez, that's a great question.
Do you have a couple?
I'm just trying to deep down and think because everyone on our team is pretty funny in their own right. Everybody has their own inside jokes, and it's just funny. So it's kind of hard to pick who is the funny one of the group. Who's the class clown in a sense.
That's
You have a go-to pump-up song you're about to play that game, a song you listen to before the team listens to their warm-up?
Me personally, I'll throw on some Dave East, Powder, which is like it's kind of like a story of him back in Harlem before he blew up. Which
Very
me
nice.
personally, I like listening to music that has meaning to someone. So that's for me. That was always a great pump up song for me.
Who do you like to room with when you're on the road?
Well, we were kind of just thrown into randomness in the beginning. So I was in a room with Denver, who was a very funny guy, which honestly could probably be the funny guy in that whole thing. But normally when we go rooming, we all just congregate into one room and we just do a little FIFA tournament, just chat around, have our dinner, whatever the case may be there.
That's fun.
So, who's the best FIFA player in the team then?
I'd say probably either Paul Morales or Kenny Garcia.
Very nice.
All will know that he let us down in that little FIFA tournament not too long ago. So,
Somebody will have to take his place next year.
oh yeah.
So we mentioned at the top you had a big season, 12 wins as a team, tied a program record. Do you have a favorite moment from last year?
I would say the Queens game. That was a very important game for us, considering that I think there was 20 different scenarios for I think the top 4 teams to make it into the postseason, and just going to Queens where they don't have the best field, and I think everybody in the conference knows that it's very hard to play our style of play onto a field that doesn't let you do that. And coming out there with a 2-0 win as a team is probably one of the best feelings I've honestly experienced playing soccer.
Absolutely. So if you could play any other sport at Malloy, which one would you pick? And what?
Probably track and do the hurdles, because I've done that in high school. But then again, like I look at the high school level compared to the college
Big
level,
jump.
different, completely different.
You said you were playing FIFA before. Are you watching anything on TV currently?
Well, they just started putting back on the German soccer league. I think about 2-3 weeks ago. So everything is soccer's slowly getting back onto television. I believe this weekend they have the Spanish league starting up again. So that's another great thing to watch right there.
Break up the quarantine a little bit.
A bit, yeah. It's sad that you won't see the fans though. But
For the Bundesliga, do you support a specific team, or you just like watching the game played?
I just like watching them play. Just seeing how teams play tactically and seeing how, let's say, defensive-minded or how they counter going towards goal. I just love seeing how teams move, like how the players move around, see how they like communicate with each other, especially now since you could hear that with no fans being in the stands.
So you said you like Madrid. Who's your favorite professional athlete?
Iker Casillas, probably the reason why I became a goalkeeper.
Very nice, Dennis. We want to thank you for taking the time and sharing your time during this difficult period with us, and appreciate you coming on. Be well.
Thank you for having me, guys. Hope you guys are doing well.
See you soon.
See ya.